You're listening to JTE Movie Thinks. Is that the title? Is that correct grammar? All right, we'll go with it. It's a show about movies and thinking. And now, here's your host, every man's hero, JTE.
Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of JTE Movie Thinks. This week I got a really great guest, a good friend of the producer of the Schmoes, Ken Napzok. Welcome to the show, Lou Santini.
Hey.
I said the name right.
You said it right. Go out on a high note now.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a really fun show. I don't know you as well as like Ken or some other guys.
Right.
So sometimes with them, I have an idea maybe what they would have watched. If I was going to be a betting man, I would say Ken probably watch a romantic comedy that doesn't have a happy ending. Because that's kind of what he likes to watch.
Or something with a wizard.
Or something with a wizard, exactly.
If they ever do a romantic comedy with a wizard, his head's going to explode. A wizard who can't find love, and at the end, you know, he does. Ken's like, yes!
I think Ken is writing that script.
This summer, this wizard needs love.
Game of Thrones love, or something like that.
Thou shalt not love.
Love is coming.
Oh, that sounds like a porno, that last one. All right, so this part of the show, the way this works, Lou, is I don't know what movie you saw last.
Wait, by the way, I'm on the show this week too, right?
Yeah,
okay.
You're going to chime in.
Okay.
I cannot have Ken.
Thanks for having me back. I can't believe you're sticking with that title.
It's a great title, JTE Movie Thinks. I think it fits perfectly. And your intro is fantastic.
Okay, thank you. Good to be back.
All right, so the way this works, Lou, is I don't know what movie you saw last. No one does.
Oh, all right.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you what the last movie you saw, and I'm not saying just in the theater.
All right.
Or, like, you know, last time you ventured out into some special screening. I want to know what's the last movie you actually watched, whether it be on an iPad, whether it be in an airplane on your way back from a gig or a show.
Okay.
Whatever it might be, what is the last movie you watched?
All right, well, it's not exactly new, but it's in my collection. I own very few movies.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have to love a movie, or, you know, get a free copy, but love a movie to actually own it on DVD, and I watch it quite often, and that's the Simpsons movie.
The Simpsons
Yeah.
movie?
Yes, sorry.
I could have guessed that.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
You're a betting man? I mean, I know it's, 7 years old?
I think he saw it 30 times in 1 week.
Yeah. No, double that.
That is not true.
No, 100% true.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but yeah.
There's some circumstances around it,
Sure.
I remember, as a good friend.
Yeah.
But,
no, I saw the movie for the first time when it came out. I was dating a girl. She was a dancer in Vegas, and no, not the stripper. Not a stripper. I wish I could say that she was, but she was actually the old school, like the Rockettes, the chorus line type dancer. I have another great story about that. Anyway, so she was, she's from Michigan. I met her in California. She was performing in Vegas. I flew out to see her in Vegas. And we went out and, you know, had some drinks, went to dinner, hit the tables, and she wanted to stay out partying all night. And I said, I can't. She's like, why not? I said, the Simpsons movie premieres tomorrow, and the first showing's at 10 a.m. And she's like, you're kidding me, right? And I left a dancer in a casino by herself to go upstairs to my room and get good sleep. But yeah, she came in, thought I would still be up, and like I would feel resentful. I was sound asleep, getting good 8 hours. And she would not even let me borrow her rental car, even though she had nowhere to go. I had to walk like 7 blocks on 105-degree heat.
Wow. Oh, my God.
And I was one of 12 people at that early, because no one's seeing the movie at 10 a.m. in Vegas. You know, everyone's still coked up and hungover from the night before.
It's not like Star Wars where you got a line going around the building.
No.
You know, people weren't, running around with, Duff beers like, I can't wait to see this movie.
Right. I mean, maybe they were in other cities, but in Las Vegas, they just were not. And I just remember I was in the theater with 12 other guys. We're all scattered around the theater, and it was literally like me and 11 guys looked like comic book guy. Just 11
Jeff Albertson.
Jeff Albertson. And I remember when the Spider Pig part came up, where Homer started singing the Spider Pig song. I was kind of muttering it under my breath, and I looked over, and the guy next to me, like 6 rows chairs down, he was muttering it. I looked back, and the other guy was muttering it. Next thing you know, by the end of that song, we all were standing in the theater singing it at full volume.
Really? Are you serious?
Look out, here comes the spider pig. All 12 of us are like, yeah, big there was like 12 of us applauding. We all sat down sadly.
How did you know the song? Is because it was the commercials?
Because the commercials. Because the commercials.
That was one of the best things about those commercials, that Spider Pig joke. So it did really sell.
And you know what? My favorite part about that scene itself was literally the look of Marge's mouth. It's very specific,
Okay,
but she had that
okay.
blank stare. That
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how a Simpsons animation with those it's two eyeballs and a dot.
Yeah.
Can be so expressive, but her mouth was like really, really small. Like she could almost see her forming. Like, what the hell? You know, I thought that I just lost it in that part.
I remember the trailer. That was like the last scene in the trailer.
Yeah.
When you go to theater and you see that trailer, that's like the last thing they would end it with.
Yeah, I had a Spider Pig T-shirt right after that.
Let me just say, first of all, I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I grew up watching Simpsons. We would literally every Sunday night watch it.
Right.
And then the next morning, my lunch table in school would the whole lunch would be us discussing the episode and talking the lines and talking about what jokes we liked the best.
Yeah.
Now, one difference between you and me, one thing I did know about you, Liz, you were a big Simpsons fan.
Yeah.
Anyone that steps into your place knows that.
Right.
There's Simpsons memorabilia everywhere. I fell off the show after around season 11 or 12.
Interview over.
I consider, like, for me, season 2 to, like, 9 or 10 were the glory days.
I want you to be careful where you're going, because this is a man who once was on a date in downtown Cleveland, and the girl said, I don't watch The Simpsons. Isn't that a cartoon? He stopped the
she
car.
said a kid's cartoon.
A kid's cartoon.
Oh, it's a kid's
he stopped the car and kicked her out of the car.
No.
Yep.
Well, I agree with that, because
See?
Ricky Gervais actually once said that comedy is subjective, but some things are just funny.
Yeah.
And Simpsons is funny. You cannot convince me it is not.
Right.
My
Okay.
sense of humor was formed by Simpsons. It's the #1 movie or series, that I would say formed my sense of humor.
You posted something like that on Facebook, Ken, about you didn't, when they did that 24-hour marathon every episode ever, that marathon on FXX. You post on Facebook, so you didn't realize how much of your day-to-day conversation and life and humor is based on stuff like that.
Yeah. I get together with my friends from school, the ones I was at the lunch table with, and we will just have conversations. Yeah. And we finish each other's sentences, and we've had people hang out with us and be like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, because they weren't Simpsons fans.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're just talking
It's a
quotes
language,
right now.
but it's also a way of looking at the world. That sometimes it's down the middle. It might lean left, based because a lot of the writers might be left, but it also goes right, and it just goes through life. So that's what I realized is it formed my worldview. Where Saturday Night Live and Monty Python and Douglas Adams formed a lot of my comedy timing and taste. Simpsons helped form my worldview.
I totally agree. And let's talk a little bit about this movie.
Sure.
Because some people will say this was a little late to the party. I think everybody who grew up with Simpsons, they always talked about a movie. Everybody wanted the movie. Yeah. And when I was at that lunch table and we were watching season 6 and 7, we were like, how awesome would it be if we had a Simpsons movie? And when this was announced, to me it was kind of like that window has passed.
Right.
I was like, the time where it was really hitting home runs every weekend for me was that 8-season run. So while I was excited for this movie, it wasn't excited I would have been if it came out during, to me, the golden years.
It's an interesting take, maybe because we're in the same age bracket, but you're younger enough that there's could be a little bit of generational. Much like same with Lou and I. I never anticipated a movie, never thought about a movie, never wanted a movie. When the movie came out, I was dubious simply because I was like, why? I already have the greatest show on TV. Yeah, I don't know if you felt this.
Yeah, well, it was like when the Beavis and Butthead movie came out. I mean, I enjoyed Beavis and Butthead when they came out, right? South Park movie came out or whatever. I mean, even Mystery Science Theater 3000 when that movie came out, that was just like a long episode without commercial breaks. As good as it was. I was okay with the movie as long as I just don't try to put a button on everything and don't try to explain everything because then that will tip off the end of the series. If the series is going to end, I wanted to end on its own volition on television, and the movie did not do that. It didn't explain why everything. Yeah, it just was it was just a long episode. And it
didn't answer where Springfield was.
Right,
I was worried they were going to do that.
Yeah, I was too. I was worried about that too. And I thought maybe they would bring back characters that had been killed in the series. I'm like, don't do that, and they didn't. This is one thing I love. Another thing I love about The Simpsons. The integrity in every sense of the word. It's funny, Krusty the Clown always talks about how shoddy his merchandise is on the show. And everything catches a fire and is poisonous and toxic and you're choking hazard. But everything The Simpsons makes, I mean, the memorabilia that I have is always of really good quality. And while they will pretty much put their name on just about everything, I mean, all the things that I have that talk when you hit a button, the sound quality is unbelievable. The sound bits are really long. I have things in here that are 10, 15 years old, and they sound just as good today as they did back then, and I've still never even changed the battery on them. And so, and the integrity they have in the fan books. the integrity they have in the fact that, like Ken and I were saying, it's like they didn't try to answer things and put a button on all these questions you might have had in the movie. There will be a second movie, you know.
You think so?
No, they already said
they said that?
They're going to do one once the series is over.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Have they,
now, I don't
have
know
the guideline for when the
I don't
series
know
is
if
gonna
I don't know if they're going to time that with, well, the series is over now here's the movie, or the series is still finishing up and here's the movie, and then you can go back and finish up the series. I don't know how they're going to do that yet.
Well, one thing I really did enjoy about the movies, Simpsons was such a part of Americana at that point. You didn't have to introduce the characters.
Yeah.
It's like introducing Mickey Mouse. You just go in, you know who he is, you know who Homer is, you know who Bart is. The thing that I was really excited about this movie was because they brought back a lot of the original writers from James L. Brooks himself. On IMDb, it says the writers, James L. Brooks and others. Do you guys know who some of the writers are?
Well, they probably brought back Matt
Groening.
Matt Groening. He can groan too. Matt Groening, Mike Scully, maybe.
Can Al Jean come in there too?
Al Jean, I'm looking at it right here.
What's the guy who's unfortunately got cancer and is passing away?
Sam Simon.
Who I've met him, and I did go to a table read too. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, well, but I don't think Conan came back, which would have been a shame because some of the best episodes are Conan.
He even said, I believe Conan around that time said he would have liked to have gone and worked on the movie, and he was never asked.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if he comes back for that second one.
Yeah.
It could almost be a timing thing. I mean, 2007. When did Conan make that transition on late night? He could have been swamped.
2009.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I enjoyed the movie overall.
Sure.
I liked it better than the actual series at the time because I think the writing was a little bit more in tune to the days I used to watch it in the Golden Age.
Yeah.
According to me. Did you guys feel that way, or did you feel like it was...
I think one of the problems is, with like the Beavis and Butthead movie, the South Park movie, as good as they both were, in the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie and whatever animated movie based on a TV show, you think, well, it's a movie, so since it's longer and we're not restricted by the FCC rules, it by definition should be better than the TV show. I went in there not expecting it to be better than TV show. Just make it as good. Will I laugh out loud? What is the laughs per minute ratio? Sorry, that's the way I look at things like that. You know, I said, I've never watched one episode of The Simpsons, not a one, where I haven't laughed out loud one time, and I laughed my butt off in that movie.
What did you think about the overall plot with the dome and just like the whole kind of sci-fi, almost like a sci-fi kind of story?
Was it ABC or CBS thought it was a great...
they
when they created a TV show Under the Dome.
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
You were okay with it?
Yeah. How are you going to stretch something into a major, make it cinematic?
Right. Big movie, big plot. Yeah. It has to be a big movie. It has to be I hate using the word epic, but it has to be a bigger thing than you would see on a 22-minute episode on the show. I mean, how could you possibly cram that in 22 minutes?
One thing I will say when I watched the film, I really enjoyed it, and I do feel like the side characters that make up Springfield each got a little moment, but I wish maybe some of them had a little bit more of a moment. Because some of my favorite episodes of Simpsons when those main characters...
Oh, me too.
When those side characters join the main character story.
22 Short Stories of Springfield is one of the best episodes of all time. Because of that.
Because of that reason.
Yeah, and when I saw the movie, I like how they gave everyone their little moments. But part of me did wish maybe some of the characters got a little more than others.
Well, I mean, I read that unauthorized biography, and that a movie based on the most prolific show, most profitable show, and longest running show of all time cannot be all things to everyone.
Sure.
So you're not going to be necessarily disappointed. I mean, you said you liked the movie. I liked it. There were things that I wish would have happened as well. But again, we're looking at a 6-hour movie then. Yeah. Maybe those other things will be fixed or addressed in the second movie with different writers. Conan comes back, and you know, there's just going to be some things. I don't want. I want more music because I like the musical episodes, or I want more side characters.
I got bogged down a little bit in the Homer Odyssey part of it, the Homer going to find stuff with Marge. Not that it was bad. There were some of the best things was the one with the big
boobs.
Yeah, the boob girl.
Boob lady.
And
Boob lady.
Simpsons there's some great episodes of great heart all through up to even this past year.
Okay.
And whatever season 92 we're in now.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to have that, and they do have that with Homer and Marge. But I maybe not directly to your point of I wanted more Apu, but I did want more of the city, and I thought it became more about Homer and Marge. But again, it's The Simpsons. It's the family.
And I will say, the storyline did get a little dark at times, especially with Homer and Bart. There was that one scene in the hotel where Bart's like drunk. And I thought it was funny, but I was like, yeah, definitely they're pushing the PG-13 a little bit more.
You see some Bart nudity.
Yeah.
Homer flipping off.
Flipping off people's...
when he went in the sinkhole.
Yeah.
The double finger.
That was and Lou mentioned it, without restrictions. Yeah. I think other properties might have gone too far.
Okay.
like, oh, we can cuss now, or we can have a sex scene. Oh, let's show Marge naked. No, they did it perfectly with the Homer flipping off. Oh, that's one of my favorite moments. It gets caught in the sand.
Well, he is right, though, because some of my favorite episodes are the ones with heart. My all-time favorite heart episode is when Homer is reunited with his mom, and at the end of the episode, all it is credits are rolling, Homer sitting on the hood of his car out in the desert watching the shooting stars. I choke up every time I see that. My mom's alive. She's around. Like, why am I getting choked up about that? Yeah. And just the little bit of music they played, and he just sitting there like a little boy looking at the sky. I'm like, that's... To be able to pull that off in animation, there's live action shows that can't pull that off. And movies that spend millions of dollars that they can't pull off that kind of heart.
And one of the things I think Simpsons does best is they give you that heart, but 2 seconds later, they'll hit you with one of the most clever jokes you'll hear.
Oh, of course. And vice versa. Yeah. Sometimes they'll hit you with a mean joke, but there's that nudge like, just kidding. We love each other.
There's a great joke in that episode you just saw where they go out the back door and Mr. Burns and the SWAT team come in, and Grandpa's there, and they're like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, he starts just rambling stuff. They go, are you senile or are you just lying? He goes, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
has a sense of humor about his own dementia. No.
Stuff like that.
Look, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, in comedy in general, if you can't laugh at your problems, then there's no hope for any of us, and so.
And at the movie, there's so much pressure on this movie. Yeah, it's the Simpsons movie.
Hard
in 2007. Series started in 89. First debuted in 87, April 19th, my birthday, April 19th, 1987, on the Tracy Ullman Show. Okay. So for a show 30 years, essentially, after it started, the movie comes out, right? 87 or 20? 20 years.
20 years.
Well, my math is, that's why I'm a writer.
You went to Springfield Elementary.
Yeah, which is located near four different states. There's so much pressure to make this movie good. There was a part of me that walked out of it going, but on repeat viewings, that has been forgotten.
Really? Okay.
I've seen this movie not as many times as he has since it, but I love it.
You know why? Because when you saw it in the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk into a theater with the high expectations. Anytime I see any movie, whether it's the first viewing or at home, or first viewing or multiple viewing, when I'm at home, get your feet up, you're relaxed. You can hit pause, stop, delete, whatever you're doing, and you don't have to worry about it.
I'm not going to lie either. When I walked to the movie, I was kind of ready to hate it. Because, again, like I told you, I love those golden age.
You are a comic book guy.
Here's the thing, because, like I said, season 2 to 9 are the absolute favorite, and I kind of fell off it. And this movie came out at a point where I kind of given up a little bit on Simpsons. Yeah. And so for me, I really enjoyed the movie because I was going in there thinking, wouldn't it be that good? And I was surprised how good it was. And I bring that back to the writers.
And I'm looking at the full list of writers. They brought Ian Maxton Graham, all those people.
Yeah.
Everyone came back. John Schwartzwelder, who's one of the great ones there in the original writers' room. Part of the problem too with it, and it also relates to The Simpsons later on. Look, I will say the season, it's impossible to go almost 30 years of TV, and you're not gonna. You might run out of things, or I don't think they've ever run out of things. But then it became, how many times can Homer do this? How many? Yep. So I agree with it, but it's certainly rebounded or found its strength again. And some of the best written episodes of the last 5 years, the baseball, the Moneyball episodes.
The Moneyball?
Yeah, they did a parody of that.
Is it better than the baseball where Mr. Burns brought the whole softball?
No, but it's smarter. But it's smarter.
Really? Okay.
And there's the one where they go to the Grove. That is hilarious. But you asked the question off air of us of, but can you quote it?
Yeah.
And part of the reason is, and so funny, I mentioned him on your last podcast, is one of my favorite musicians, Ryan Adams, not Brian, Ryan Adams. Yeah. He's a prolific songwriter. Each time he releases an album, people always say it's not as good as your last one. And he got sick of it, and he said, look, it's just because you haven't had time to form an emotional core or connection to this song yet. Give it a chance. Because he goes, 5 albums ago, people said that album sucked. And it wasn't as good as now they're saying this album isn't as good as the 5 albums ago. So some of the Simpsons now, you haven't had a chance to connect it to your emotions yet. Growing up, where Monorail was part of my my young adulthood, So that's part of the problem too. Is you're around so long, and you are held up to your own standards.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: we all live to be 100. Let's say, no matter what we do,
God willing,
no matter what we do. Yeah. See, the first season's going to be older than the most recent one. Whether they go, because they said they want to go 30 years, and they were, I don't know if they were half joking or not. They said they're going to go 30, but they would love to go 50. Jeez. But I mean, bottom line is only that's the amount of time passes, even if you watch them again and again and again. And frankly, you know this. I mean, you're not old, but you're getting older. You don't have time to watch the same episode 18 times, and you don't meet with your high school friends and discuss the things every week.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, you have a life now and a job, and you're doing things. And I used to watch episodes. The seasons 1 through 10, I know I've seen every episode 100 times, minimum.
Well,
same here.
Minimum.
I'm in a very a money league, fantasy baseball league. Guys, I'm one of the younger ones, but I'm now older. I started at 22 in the league, and everyone's maybe 5 to 10 years older than me, other than maybe one guy now. My point is, we get together once a year for our draft in person. The entire draft, all of us make Simpsons jokes and references, including we do a check for how much money each team has left. We call out, Commissioner, can we have a money fight? Money fight! And we all play money fight. We're in our late 30s and 40s now. We all still watch, but we don't quote what we do now because they have kids, they have jobs and everything, and our mind it's more of a sponge back in the day. And syndication. I watched Monorail 20 times in syndication. I don't see them as much anymore.
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's gotten to the point where there's so much syndication for Simpsons.
Yeah.
If it's in widescreen, I know not to watch it.
Yeah.
If it's 4:3, I watch it because I know that time period it is.
And the other thing too is those earlier episodes. Frankly, I mean, yes, it wasn't like the beginning of cable because when did cable TV come out? Mid '70s, late '70s, whatever. Yeah. But we didn't have a billion channels in the internet, and you can watch episodes of pretty much any TV show on Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime and everything else. So you know when you only have X amount of resources and you're a little kid, what is your job? Go to school, waste time, you know, and that's your job and fill time. So that's what you did. As you get older, it's like, well, I don't have time. I don't have time to watch sports like I used to.
I
don't block out time to watch sports like I used to. You know,
there's a 14-year-old inside of me that can't believe I miss Yankee games, go to dinner instead of watch the Dolphins play, and don't remember Beatle track listings. You know what I mean? It's just part of it. Well, but I feel like we're attacking you for not liking me.
How dare you be as old as you are?
Let's talk a little bit about the villain in the film. One of my favorite comedic actors ever, Albert Brooks.
Oh yeah.
He was on a show. How many times was he on an actual series? I know he played Scorpio.
Yep.
He was on an earlier episode where he played somebody else. I can't remember who.
He played one of Marge's.
The French dude.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Jacques.
He's been off and on for a while.
He's been off and on, and that Scorpio episode is one of my absolute favorite episodes ever.
Cream? No, thank you.
Yeah.
You ever seen a man throw a shoe? Well, once.
There's the hammock store, the ladies' hammocks. In fact, they're all the hammock store. I'll do it on there. What did you think of him as a villain? Did you think he worked? I mean, I had a lot of expectations just because he was in the movie.
Yeah.
And I thought he was good. But it was no Scorpion.
By the way, the name Russ Cargill, his big guy, is that why does that name sound familiar to me? And I've never Googled it because it was like I know there was a company called Cargill that I think manufactures like work clothes for blue collar workers. I'm not sure, but the Russ Cargill. I mean, usually when you have a name like that, there's a reason that C. Montgomery Burns is named C. Montgomery Burns. You know, and Bart is named after Matt Groening's son Bart. You know, so but I mean, I'm trying to why Russ Cargill? What of all the names?
I think Ken's gonna look that up.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
But nonetheless, I thought Albert Brooks did a great job. Soon as I liked not knowing he was in the movie when I went to the movie. I didn't know he was in that, and so I recognized his voice right away because it was kind of like Scorpio.
Yep.
You know, I thought he did a great job, and I think no one plays sarcasm and dry better than him. Granted, you can't see his face because it's animated, but I thought he was awesome.
Let me ask you this: where would you like to see this next movie go? Like if I was Matt Groening and you had to pitch me an idea.
Who's Matt Groening?
Yeah, Matt Groening.
Groening?
Yeah.
Are you surprised, Ken?
No.
Thank you. If I don't do it at least once, I will get emails. What would you pitch for him for the next movie to be?
You know what? I know sounds like I'm evading your answer. Here's what I don't want it to be. I don't want answers. I don't want answers to my question. I don't want to know. So Springfield is in North Dakota.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do that.
I don't want to know. I don't want them to. Don't tell me where the Springfield is located. I don't want to know. I don't want any of the main characters to die or my favorite side characters to die in it.
Agree.
I don't want it. No one should grow up. I mean, Bart shouldn't be going off to college or high school or anything like that. I don't want to see any of that. That's the beauty of the show. Don't be something that it has not been. That's all I ask.
Did you like the episode where they went to the future? Or Lisa went to college?
I love all the ones.
You know what? I remember I have the magazine somewhere. They rated the top. You know, it was is TV Guide magazine. Still got. I can't say the magazine. They actually made a side article on worst episodes ever.
Really?
And the number one
No.
was the one where Bart goes into the future and Lisa's in the White House.
Okay.
They said that was the worst. And I watched that and I laughed my ass off because Ralph's in it and he's so much.
I love anytime depict Lisa and Milhouse's bad marriage in
Yes.
the future. I love that.
Yeah.
I also love the one episode that we're talking about where she goes into the future and Maggie gets so close to saying a word every time.
Don't even get me started on that because
you don't want to hear her talk, do you?
Well, no, that's the thing. If you ask me a trivia question, has Maggie ever spoken? If so, when? There's like 7 answers to that.
Well, only one I know is Homer.
No.
Or her daddy.
Elizabeth Taylor said that.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, she said daddy. She said Homer. There was another one where she does speak, but it's one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes, and she has Kang or Kodos, or was it James Earl Jones's voice? I think might have been it, or whatever.
Are you playing us off, JT?
It's like an Oscar speech.
Yeah, we had a little music example. It's all good.
All right, we're hit about this, but we're good. We're still going strong. I want to see. Here's what I want to see the movie. I'm pitching this right now.
Okay.
You can give me a go pitch.
Go ahead.
I want Russ Cargill comes back
Okay.
to get revenge on Springfield, but it turns out from the outer worlds, Poochie comes back with his army from space, and it turns out he is the Poochie was real, and he was from an alien planet, and he comes back to save the day.
This would have to be a Halloween.
I also
Halloween movie
would
episode.
not mind every living guest star they've ever had come in on that final episode somehow, some way.
cool.
I'm talking
Talking about the movie or the episode?
the movie.
Okay.
Or what are we talking about? The movie or the final episode?
Final movie.
Final movie, yeah. Just Kim Basinger, Alec Baldwin,
Oh, wow.
Ron. That episode with Ron Howard and Kim Basinger, and Alec that episode was.
Ron
I
Howard
watched it the other day.
cameo.
Ron Howard was awesome in that. He was so funny. I want to learn how to make a lawnmower that drank the vodka with wheatgrass. And he's somehow some raging alcoholic. Brian Grazer was in that episode.
Yeah.
You know, and you watch that, and like they reference, them, Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger being married, and she's a,
When I think about
Oscar.
the cameos, I think about Mel Gibson, the Road Warrior,
Yeah.
straight up, and he was almost in the whole episode.
Yeah.
Now
I don't know if he would do it now.
Well, now
but
it's commonplace, but back in the day, the fact that Michael Jackson did a secret, not so
Dude,
secret.
they've had
guest
every
appearance.
Beatle except Lennon.
Yeah,
They've had every
the
Beatle.
McCartney one was great.
that was the vegetarian.
George Harris, the B Sharps one from one of my as a Beatle fan.
B.
It
Sharp?
was one of the best documentaries about the Beatles ever. Was the B Sharps one, and just George Harrison. Coming over with the brownie.
Yeah.
I'm George Harrison. Where did you get that brownie? Like, God, I love
I told
that.
you I met George Harrison once. Right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
at the
You asked
Hotel
him-
California.
Well, here's how much The Simpsons mean to me. I once interviewed David Crosby of Crosby, Stills and Nash on my radio show back in the day, and we talked about what we had to talk about music, and he'd just been reunited with his long-lost son who was playing guitar in his band, and it's David Crosby, man, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and I said, all right, can we talk about The Simpsons, man? And he was excited. He loved it. He goes, those people are so fun to work with. He was Barney's sponsor in this episode, and it meant something to him because he's battled addictions and everything. I love
It's a badge of honor for celebrities to be asked. I mean, if they asked, if I could just say the word "hi" on an episode, I think my head would explode. But just it is, and having sat in a live reading of an episode after 24 years. Going in, just crossing my fingers like, please don't be jaded. Please don't be jaded.
Oh, really?
It was like opening night on Broadway. There was not one person in that room that wasn't smiling. The interns, the janitors were friendly.
Yeah.
James L. Brooks was there.
Oh, wow.
It's just a table read.
Yeah, it's just table read.
Laughing. I mean,
What episode did they do? Can I ask that? Do you remember?
right behind you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Is it the title on it right there?
4.
Well, it doesn't have the title. It's production script number RABF1.
My favorite episode.
Yes. You probably remember the plot. I wasn't there.
Yeah, I got to go that, and I got to watch Yardley Smith do pickups in the voiceover booth.
Oh, okay.
The guys in the control booth, they got out of their chair. Wait, welcome to the thing. Can we get you any coffee? I'm like, well, shouldn't you be worried? I mean, it was crazy how nice. Everyone knows how lucky they are to be on the best show on television.
Except Harry Shearer.
Yeah, except Harry Shearer, who did not show up.
Oh, really?
He did not show up for the table read.
Wow.
He lived up to the reputation of that book. But anyway,
wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, so what I'm just saying is that's why I think that's another reason why the show endures for so long, because no one has this needs to stop, or I hate this.
Yeah.
What, you hate making money? You hate being surrounded by happiness all the time? You don't have to worry about characters getting stale or growing up or learning lessons, things like that. I mean, Larry David, when he was on Seinfeld, he said, I don't want anyone to learn a lesson, and I don't want anyone hugging at the end. And The Simpsons, they do have the hug, dog, but Homer still does the same stupid things to just different ways of doing them. Marge is still who she is.
Yeah.
So
and the movie, bringing it back to the movie, as you probably want to wrap up your show, we can talk about, but the movie didn't lose any of its essence from what made the show successful back in the golden age. And I agree there is a golden age of the show, but it retained all of its essence and integrity in what it is.
I was worried that after I saw the movie, I would not want to watch the show anymore.
Oh,
Could
really?
not have been more wrong. I raced, once I got back to LA, I raced home and popped in DVDs, and I just couldn't wait.
And I love that they changed the intro to match the movie. You know, they added stuff in it, kind of was a continuation.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let me say I recommend this movie.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm going to say you recommend
it's all
it.
right.
It kept my spirits up in a tough time in my life when I had a medical issue too. I literally, so I was going through some crazy virus. It's nothing. We didn't know, there was like a 3-day period. Didn't know if it was life threatening or not.
Okay.
And my muscles were seizing up.
Oh my
you know,
God.
it was I got tested for every type of including Lou Gehrig's disease, these kind of things too,
geez.
right? And it was only localizing itself in various parts of my body.
Okay.
One of the things I couldn't do, I had no dexterity. I mean, holding a glass was like with both forearms. I couldn't use my fingers, so I couldn't change the channel of the remote. You know how frustrating it is to change the channel, hit the wrong button, you're stuck watching Oprah for like, just like, oh my God, it's like that scene in the Twilight Zone when your glasses break. So what I did is I popped that Simpsons movie in on DVD on a loop, and I hit the loop function at the time, and I watched it 65 times. I'd wake up, it was playing. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, it was playing. I'd go to bed, and it was playing, and that's what kept me sane.
Hey, look, if I'm going to go, that's how I want to go. Watching something I love.
Yeah.
All right, well, as we exit this great podcast, I love talking Simpsons, and I could do this probably for like another 3 hours.
This is part one of how many in a series?
Yeah, it'll be the first of like 30 years of Simpson podcasting. I want to know what's one of your favorite moments. I know there's a lot of them.
Sure.
Not the movie, the series. Like, what's one moment through the series? Just give me one. The first thing that comes to your mind.
That's easy. I'm wearing the shirt.
Oh, yes.
I'm wearing the shirt.
He's wearing
a shirt that Ken got for me. That was totally unplanned.
I just realized this is a Simpsons shirt.
The Cape Fear episode with Sideshow Bob was one of my all-time favorites, and Kelsey Grammer was just, what a great recurring character that is. And the fact they brought David Hyde Pierce in, even better.
Beautiful.
So the Cape Fear episode, and he's clinging to the bottom of that car. They pull up to Cape Fear. He gets out and steps on a rake.
Yep.
And then he steps on it, he turns and it's the sound effect.
Very Three Stooges.
13 times he hits that rake. The comedy rule of threes. And not only does he hit it 13 times, they cut away to a shot of Homer in the houseboat, and you still hear Sideshow Bob off in the distance stepping on rakes.
I never realized that.
Did Conan have something to do with that episode? I don't know. The time frames might be.
It's certainly something
very
around that
funny
area.
because the stories of the writer room with Conan are that he'd say something and he'd be that's kind of funny, and he'd keep saying it, and then you'd be like, that's funny. Then he'd say it, and you'd be like, Conan, shut up. And then he'd say it, and he'd be like, Conan, stop. And then he'd say it like the 10th time, and you'd die laughing.
Yeah.
And that joke reminds me of that because it just kept going.
I read a review of that episode, and they said it went from being mildly funny to hilarious to annoying back to hilarious because it happens 13 times.
Yeah.
And a very close tie for second. It's so subtle. It was not a sight gag like that. It was just, I couldn't tell you what Homer was doing to annoy Marge, but he wanted to do some harebrained scheme, and Marge says, Homer, I've put up with a lot from you. And Homer goes, like he's going to argue with her, and they cut to Bart and Lisa, and they're just doing a deadpan look, and they shake their head like, don't. And that's when I realized, like, wow, to pull that off with just spherical eyeballs and a dot, and to pull off children doing a deadpan, sarcastic look with no words. I lost my mind. I must have rewound that look 1,000 times. Oh my God! To this day, I'll do it to people, and no one will get it but me. That makes me happy.
For me, going to the show, there's two moments. One of my all-time favorite episodes is the Homer 300-pound episode where he intentionally gains weight to get a workers' comp. So there's the fat man hat and the moo-moo, and sir, can I get you a bag of popcorn, a garbage bag of popcorn? I just want to watch honk if you're holding in peace. There's all that in that, and he's got his dialing wand and his reaching stick and all that kind of stuff. But the moment that hooked me and defined me, because I was still younger, I was still coming out of junior high, and I believe, again, I could be wrong, I think it's a Conan episode, is Mo goes to hide, I think he's hiding that whale or something, he tells Barney, watch the bar. Cuts back to Barney, upside down on the bar, drinking directly from the tap, and he says, my heart stopped. There it goes. That was the moment that hooked me as a young adult. But my favorite all-time joke is in that Homer the Fat Man episode where he tries to dial panically and his fat fingers can't dial, and so he gets the line of, "You have selected regicide. If you know the king or queen that is being murdered, press 1." All-time favorite joke.
That's great. I will. Let me call one joke from the Fat
movie?
Homer,
Oh,
the Fat Homer movie,
yeah.
when Lisa is being teased on the bus. Like, my father's not some crazy food guy who always eats food. And literally, the behind-the-scenes shot is Homer, who stole an ice cream truck, and he's looking at ice cream. He's like, "Ooh, sugar!" It just drives by, and Lisa just has this defeated
that
look.
episode's my favorite because it's low concept and it's Homer's a super fat man. It's high concept and how it can handle it all. And the little things, the little details, and the honk if you're horny, the garbage bag, but like the stupid, like when he presses the tab button and he's waiting for the tab button on the computer. Where's my tab? You know, and a reference to an old outdated soda. Like, that's what I love.
All right, I'm going to bring up one more episode before we go. This is one of my favorite all-time episodes. It's the one where Homer goes to the candy convention.
Okay.
And gets accused of pulling the gummy
The sexual harassing the babysitter.
What is it, the Venus de Milo candy?
Gummy Venus de Milo. Stop saying gummy so much.
I find out one of my for me, Simpsons, the visual jokes that they pull off sometimes to me are the best. When Kent Brockman is doing the news.
I know what you're going to go say.
And they go to infrared. And it's so clearly the family is sitting there watching TV. And they cut to the chicken like, roasting an oven. And Kent Brockman's like, "We can only guess that is Homer stewing in his own like sexual stew."
And when Kent Brockman's interviewing him and you see the bad editing and the clock in the background is changing back and forth. And by the way, Kent Brockman, favorite line in a movie. Kent Brockman reporting live. How can I prove that we're live? Penis. I mean, I so did not expect that because they had never done anything like that before. So
still do I'd make reference to. I, for one, submit to our ant overlords.
I was literally just about to bring that up when the ants are on the camera.
We could.
This could go all day.
10 years later, Homer's in his house and there's someone's looking at the pictures. And there's him in space, and he's like, "Yeah, I went to space once." Like a reference to an episode 10 years ago.
That was when
You've never been?
You've never been?
That was with Grimy.
Yeah.
That was the Grimy.
Oh, don't get him started on that. He loves Frank Grimes.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up because literally we could talk about Simpsons all day.
Yeah.
Lou, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I love the fact that you watch Simpsons because I love watching Simpsons. I would not have expected that. I guess I should have. But great episode, and thank you so much again, Ken, for coming back and chiming in here.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thanks, guys. You can catch me at Schmoes JTE. Please do me a favor, you're on iTunes and you're listening to this. Do a little rate review. Give me 5 stars. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like. I just want some feedback. Ken, where can I get you on?
On Twitter and Instagram at Ken Napzok. You can find the Napzok files on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podomatic. Do the rate and review for me there as well.
And Lou Santini, you got Twitter?
I have Twitter. It's Lou Santini, Louuu. And you can just go to lousantini.com and Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening, and keep thinking about those movies.